So I chose to go to Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa. The original decision, unlike many students, was not location. It was, if I'm going to go back to school, I already have an undergraduate degree. I already have my master's degree. If I'm going to go back to school, then I want to go to a school that's the best. That was really sort of my idea. So Davenport, Iowa was not a destination choice. It was not a choice based on location or proximity. It was really, at the time, I think most of us that went to school during those years that I was there, it was considered the Harvard. It was the school that really taught me about chiropractic being an art, a philosophy, and a science. And so for me, because I was coming from a science background and because it was the philosophy of chiropractic, the appeal was really, I want to go to a school that offers the best balanced education. And so that's why I chose Palmer College. And I would say most of us that went to school during the years that I was there would say it was the golden time. Like, it was the most amazing time to be a chiropractor. And the school just had such energy. I mean, the classes were huge. I was there when Victor and Virgil Strang was my philosophy instructor. Fred Barge was my philosophy instructor. And so my first year philosophy was the person who wrote the textbook was teaching me. Fred was around and all of, in all of his bravado. And so I had I was taught philosophy from some of the best that exists. And so I would say, when you talk mentorship, I grew philosophically learning from the best. But what happened in my time was, in my second trimester, Virgil died. And within that first year of my chiropractic experience as a student, Dr. Guy Reekman came in. And so the doors just blew open. Up until that time, Palmer had closed and was really confined as far as who could participate in a student's education. They've gone back to that model, but at that time they were really closed. And then Guy came, and all of a sudden Reggie Gold was invited back onto the campus, So Reggie, I actually picked Reggie up in my car that had no air conditioning. And, I know who Reggie is. I know who Irene is. I was a campus guide. I gave tours to Chester Wilkes. And so for any of the students that may be here, or any of the doctors that may be watching, Larry Markson, I met all of the people during the time that I was a student. I gave them private tours of BJ and Mabel Palmer's home. I was the head of a campus guide. And so I really was immersed in, then became the history, but also the people that were really shaping the profession. I was meeting them, people who had made significant changes in the direction and the trajectory of the profession. They knew me by my name. And so that felt really amazing. Two other pieces, I would say, after about a year and a half in practice, I was told, you know what, you need to go listen to this female chiropractor, which at the time was just, there wasn't very many. And so I go into this room cold, having no idea who I'm listening to. And this woman stands in front and talks about the waveform and what happens with the force that we introduce into the body. And it can be constructive or destructive. You probably know who I'm talking about at this point, because she made tonal work make sense for me in one evening. That was Sue Brown. And Sue became an incredible friend of mine. And so Sue opened the door to Sherman. Sherman opened the door to student triunes. Then I was getting on a bus with other students and going and sitting at Sherman, and I met Donnie Epstein for the first time. And I met a lot of other philosophers. It was like Joe Strauss was then there. And so Judy Campanelli. I mean, and so I would tell you, when you say, who are my mentors? That moment in my life, those years of a student, are so incredibly precious, because they gave me the scaffolding that allowed me to be and grow and become who I am as a human being, which preceded who I became as a chiropractor.